Hello there. Welcome back and welcome to part 59 in my build log series of the Trumpeter 1 to 200 scale model of the Titanic. Today I am working on the Gymnasium and I'm going to be using some parts that have been sent by Neil over at Woodies Model Works. Neil has sent me a whole bunch of photo etch, so thank you very much, Neil. And I will be doing a separate review video on that at a later date. But for now, I'm going to be focusing on the Gymnasium pieces. So over the course of this video, I will be assembling all the different bits of Gymnasium equipment, the mechanical horses, rowing machines, mechanical camel as well. Who doesn't want a mechanical camel, right? So I'll be assembling them, painting them, and I'll be gluing them into the model as well. I'm also going to be adding some people, see if we can get a TW Macaulay in there perhaps. And that's probably about where we'll get up to. There are Gymnasium walls, but I'm probably going to leave those until a future video, because to add those I need to add the entire piece of the officers' quarters, and in order to do that I need to finish the officers' quarters and I need to finish the grand staircase, neither of which are done yet, so it makes sense to leave that on till a bit later. But we'll see where we get to. Without any further ado, let's crack on. So here we have some beautiful photo etch from Woodies Model Works. Again, thank you very much, Neil, for this. It is absolutely jaw-dropping. Before I get on and paint, I'm going to apply this stuff to the surface. So I've covered this before, but it's one of those things I like to sort of talk about it every so often. This is called metal prep, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. It feels like a sort of liquidy plastic. But I use it because when photo etch comes out of its package, it's incredibly smooth and it's not really very good for paint. Paint can't grip it well enough, so the smooth surface just doesn't hold onto the paint very well, so paint can chip off very easily. This is essentially a primer. You paint this on, and what happens is that it gives the material much better surface for paint to adhere to. So I'm just going to go over all of the stuff in the Gymnasium now with this metal prep. And this will just make sure that any paint I do use sticks nice and well. I'm going to do both sides because some of these parts will end up being folded over and such, so I will do both sides, but I'm only going to show one because it's not that gripping watching me use a paintbrush. There we go. So as you can see, I've painted everything white and then I've just masked off the bottom sections of the wall sections, which need to be painted in a sort of oaky colour. So for that I am using this Humbrol Matte 63, which sort of is the same colour I used on the grand staircase, and it just gives a sort of very light pale oak. So I'll just make this little table for us so you can see what I'm up to. So with a very sharp blade I cut the nubs off, and this is actually quite a simple piece, so I'll maybe do a couple of others. But we have the legs here and so we just bend them until they are horizontal. There we go. What I'm doing is, once the pieces are built, I'm putting them on this sort of sticky stick. This is a stick which I've just wrapped some tape around, and you can see that the tape allows me to stick these things down. I've painted them all in the oak colour, that's Humbrol Matte 63, but a few of these things are going to want picking out in additional colours as well, which is why they're on this sort of sticky bit, and then I'll put them down onto the gymnasium itself. So far I've made this sort of massage bed, this thing which I'm not entirely sure what it is, looks a bit like a torture device, and then two tables there. Right, so I'm just going to make this little bicycle on camera. So we've got a stand, the actual bicycle piece itself, and a wheel. So, first things first, let's bend the front section around. So we now have the sort of spoke at the front, which will mount the wheel. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bend the handlebars back. There we are. And then I shall bend the seat forwards. So there we are. What I'll do is I'll hold this up to the camera so you can see it. So we now have the actual bicycle frame nicely done. Now the next thing to do is to glue this wheel in place. There we go. And then it's simply a matter of gluing it down onto its stand. And there you have it. As always, photos are a much easier way of capturing the detail than videos are, so here's some close-ups of the bike. So now I'm going to do one of these mechanical horses. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this piece, which is the saddle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a curved surface, in this case the jaws of these pliers.
Just bending it around this. Gives me a nice shape. There's a sort of seat portion on top of that which gets bent back, up and over, like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick this down with a little bit of blue tack just to hold it in place. I'm going to put this piece inside there. There we go, that's in place. And just to make sure the glue is dried, I'll spray a little bit of kick out on it. So that's the saddle piece done now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the main body, and this needs to be bent in half. These two pieces marry up against each other. What I am going to do though is pop a bit of glue in between so that they do stay. And then pinch together. Obviously making sure that they are aligned. There we go. Good stuff. Now, the bottom is a little bit rough. You can see where I've cut off the metal right at the bottom. It's a little bit rough, so I'm just going to file off so that the feet... Right, so I'm now going to put the saddle on top. So what I'm going to do is add a bit of glue and get the saddle and place it down on top like so. And that's it. So as you can see, we've got the various different bits of apparatus from the gym. We've got things like the mechanical horses, there's a bench, some tables, another bench, what possibly might be a boxing glove, not entirely sure, some pedal bikes and some sort of standy-uppy weight machine, I guess, but people know what this equipment is. Please do let me know. I'm not really one that goes to the gym that often, and I certainly didn't go to any gyms in 1912. So I painted these all in the sort of oak colour, which is there to represent the wood of the room. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick out some additional detail on things in other colours. So for example, any seats that had leather coverings, I'm going to do this sort of rich burgundy red. Any bits of exposed metal work I'm going to do in black, and I might pick out a few other details in sort of deep brown kind of colours as well. Now, before I stick stuff down, I'm just going to put all the apparatus in to make sure it fits in the right place. Unlike most of the other rooms I've done on this model, the walls here come on at the end, whereas most other times when I've been adding furniture, the walls are already in place, so it's easy to know where things butt up against. In this case, we don't have that luxury, so what I've done is I've cut out the walls that I can use, which I'm going to use later, and I've sort of worked out where they sit, and I've defined where things go from that. So this piece is already in place. And of course we've got our two exercise bikes. Over here. Just neaten those up. There's our two exercise bikes. Now this sort of trestle bench sits here. With the rowing machines either side. Over there. The sort of curious bicycle thing, which I suspect won't stand up of its own volition. That sits about there. I'll just move it into place, it's not going to stand up without glue. And then we've got these two small little chairs that go just before the door. This sort of bed thing. So that's just behind the door. And then I believe, although I'm not entirely sure, I believe this, which is the, bizarrely enough, the automatic camel, sat over there. Then I think we had the automatic horse. This corner, again, this might not stand up of its own volition, so I'll just lie it down for now. And then we had this, I still don't know what this is, but this sort of torture rack kind of thing. Sat over here. I assume that's some form of sort of massage bed or something, but as I say, if you do know, please do give me a shout, because I am slightly at a loss to say what it is. The other two things, which there's a sort of ominous presence in the middle of the room, that's where the rowing machines go, but I haven't cut them off the photo etch sprue yet. But otherwise these things look okay. I need to work out, I've got two other things. I've got another mechanical camel and another mechanical horse. I need to work out where they go. But otherwise, that's pretty much us, I think. So it turns out these are mechanical camels and that's the mechanical horse. So I got that wrong before, but anyway, it don't really matter. These faced each other because, of course, if you're riding a mechanical camel, it's lovely to be able to see the other person that you're riding them with while you do it. So there we are, there's the two mechanical camels. Right, let's do this apparatus next. Again, not wholly confident I know what it is, but there we go. And we add the bench. I forgot to show you as well, there's a wardrobe that I made before. That goes right in the corner over here. So these mechanical bicycles, all bicycles are mechanical, aren't they? These bicycles go a bit further than I gave them credit for last time. Good, so we don't look like we're fouling anything, which is always good. And that's all the parts glued down now. I think, from what I can tell, there was only one mechanical camel, so we seem to have two. You know, never a bad thing to have a spare. The only thing left to add in is, of course, the rowing machines. So I've now added the rowing machines in place, and as you can see, that pretty much concludes the gymnasium. We've got our camels, sort of bicycle thing, that sort of racky bed thing, a horse, a couple of chairs, a sort of bench thing to lie on, two bicycles, this sort of scaffoldy kind of thing, and two rowing machines. Very nice. Right, I'm just going to add some people. So I painted a few people up in sort of gym attire, and I've also painted a character fully in white to sort of represent T.W. Macaulay, who was the person in charge of the gym on Titanic.
So there you have it. So the gym is finished. Well, I say finished. The walls are yet to be done. I've put the walls in the photos just for a bit of effect, but the walls are not yet stuck in place, and there's a few things that need to be added to the walls as well. You know, there's a map, and there's a big sort of clock that the bikes use to measure their progress and stuff. So there's a bit more to be done. But all the internals now of the gymnasium are finished, and I'm very happy with them, actually. I'm really happy with them. I think the photo etch that Neil over at Woodies Model Works has produced is absolutely brilliant, and as with all the sort of the really good things in modelling, you know, it makes what would be really tricky bits to produce a lot easier, which is all you can ever ask for with these sort of things. So again, thank you very much, Neil. So that's it for this video. The next video will probably be me finishing off the gym and then probably doing a few little odds and sods bits on the model. There's a few bits on the model that I've been meaning to get done for a while and I've just not quite got around to it. So that'll be the next video. Not sure when that'll be, but it'll be at some point in the future. That much I can guarantee. If you have any questions or comments, pop them down below and I'll do my absolute best to get back to you. If you've enjoyed this, help out the channel, like and subscribe. It's always useful. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.